Okay, so let's talk for a second about the swing states. So you just talked about how many states you've been in. And obviously, for President Trump, this election basically comes down to the swing states. His chances of winning the national popular vote continue to be extremely low. California and New York are just too populous. He is polling well from the polls that I've seen in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, more durably than I thought he would at this point.
Not Pennsylvania, but yes in Michigan and yes in Wisconsin. But there are other states. You have to look at Ohio because Sherrod Brown could be a vice presidential nominee with any Democrat. And that means Ohio switches. You have to look at Iowa because of the trade war and the farmers being particularly hurt. And Trump's unfavorability has been rising over the last 3 or 4 months in that state. Obviously, look at North Carolina. I consider that state to be the most evenly divided of any in the country. Then 2 others, New Hampshire and Arizona on the Republican side. And frankly, there's a chance that Republicans could win Minnesota from the Democrats. So those are the states that I'm following. You'll notice I didn't say Florida. I actually think Trump will do okay there. But these states are too close to call. The Democrats know just as much as the Republicans do. And in those states, we're going to have $3 billion spent on 8 or 9 states. And there's only 6% of the population that is truly undecided. So imagine spending $3 billion on 20% of the states and 6% of the people in those 20. We should just buy them a car. But that's what it's going to feel like. It's going to be $1,000 per voter to try to influence them.
So how much does the Democratic nominee matter? So President Trump's specialty may not be building up his own likability. As what I've said is that politics is the art of making it difficult to vote for your opponent and easy to vote for you. And Trump is great at one part of that and horrible at the other.
Which, again, he doesn't understand. He'll be watching this and say, oh, that's ridiculous. He knows nothing. But he doesn't hear. And he says he does, but I don't believe he does. Because he would feel the people who have a job now who didn't, who have more money in their pockets than they did 3 years ago. That key question, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? He's succeeding in that. He really is. And he's getting no credit from the media. You would not know that from the networks. You would not know that from the cable news programs. But even though they're better off, they're still hesitant. And he has to ask himself, why? With an economy, the strongest economy in my lifetime, I know in yours, surely in mine too, why isn't he at 55% approval? Why isn't he beating every Democrat by 15 or 20%? If he were Barack Obama at this point, it would be a landslide. It's not. And I recognize that the media does not give him a fair shake, but even part of that is his fault. Beating up on them, ridiculing them at press conferences, ridiculing the whole profession. Everyone uses the phrase fake news. I've been in a dozen countries in the last 6 months, and they're talking about fake news. And every time I hear this, I think, wow, the president really has had a global impact.
Did you know that every like on this video creates one additional glorious leftist tear? Don't ask me why. That's called science. To take advantage of this amazing opportunity, just hit the like button.